The transfer window is still open, and even I'm thinking of demanding a move.
Well, Greg, call San Jose. They've reshaped the whole team.
Show me the way to extra time next. Welcome to the show, everybody. Greg Lalas and Shep Messing here. Lots going on this week at ET. The big impacts from several new players around the league. We're going to click on to an overstuffed email inbox. The Olympics are kicking off later this week, and of course, the VW wow moment of the week. Shep, a really interesting weekend going by. DC and Dallas finding their groove, and the Galaxy in Toronto totally losing theirs.
Well, Greg, we're both soccer fans first, and I don't know about you, but I absolutely loved watching DC United play.
It's great.
I mean, they were running off the ball, knocking it around. It was just a thing of beauty, so good for them.
Yeah, really good. And one of the players that was most impressive was their newcomer, Ivan Guerrero, who a number of players around the league, newcomers having impact performances. He got a secondary assist on the goal. He ran the left flank very well. He seemed to fit in perfectly, something that helped DC get out of their funk.
I think you're right. And teams always look for complementary players. You have Emilio, you have Fred, you have Jaime Moreno. Now you put Joe Vide with some bite in the midfield, Guerrero overlapping from the left. It was good.
Yeah, they looked very good. They also got their first shutout of the year. Zach Wells turning in a decent performance.
Yeah, he made one world-class save. Yep. Still had some shaky moments, but maybe he'll grow in confidence.
Well, Ivan Guerrero's old team, the San Jose Earthquakes, have totally renovated during this transfer window. They've brought in Darren Huckerby, Scott Seeley, Francisco Lima, and Arturo Alvarez, who scored a beauty of a goal, left foot, lower corner. It was great. I mean, the whole attack for San Jose has been reshaped.
Greg, I'm going to shock you. I think they're going to be very, very good.
Playoffs?
Absolutely, playoffs. I think they started with a strong defense. Joe Cannon was hurt. Not too many people knew it early in the season. He's in good form. And now Huckerby, I love. Seeley up front. I think they're going to be very good.
Yeah, well, an A+ to Frank Yallop for the work that he's done in this transfer window. Now, San Jose ended up beating Los Angeles in the last minute of that game with a goal from Ryan Cochran. Los Angeles really struggling right now. They didn't even play their new player, Eduardo Dominguez, the center back. And in the meantime, they saw Houston and Dallas leapfrog them. What's going on with the Galaxy? It seems in chaos right now.
Well, Greg, I can't say that we're shocked. We knew on the defensive side of the ball from the beginning of the year they were not a balanced team. Having said that, I still believe in the guys with the firepower in the attacking third of the field. And you know, hopefully they'll start defending.
Yeah, hopefully. Now, Houston, one of those teams that jumped over them, they had a new player, or is it an old player actually? Nate Jaqua back in the fold for the Orange. He started up top alongside Brian Ching, and he had a hand in one of the goals in a 2-0 win over Columbus. Jaqua, the big man, is back.
Yeah, unbelievable for Dominic Kinnear. He spent most of the season looking for the partner to team up with Brian Chang. And what did he do? He goes back to Nate Jaqua, and it's working out.
The Chicago Fire handed a first start to their first-round draft pick, Patrick Nyako, and the guy did really well. He got a goal in a 1-0 win over Chivas. He had another one called back that probably shouldn't have been called back. He's fast and crafty, and he could be a real impact player for them, I think.
Greg, I agree. He did a great job, but I think another factor for Chicago, the Brian McBride deal got done. Chris Ralph, Justin Mapp, they're still with Chicago, so Chicago looking good.
Now the tension off their shoulders. Now the player that was sent in that deal up to Toronto, Chad Barrett, an inauspicious start to his career up at BMO Field. He couldn't even go the full 90.
He's had such a bad season. I'm really starting to root for him. He's a good kid. He works hard. He wants his team to do well. He had cramp problems, so that's something to watch. But hopefully for Toronto, he could start scoring goals.
Well, let me ask a question about these new players. Now, can they continue this for the rest of the season? I mean, they come in and they do well, but will it continue?
Yeah, my theory is the first couple of weeks, it's pure emotion and adrenaline. Then you see a decline. It's how they recover. How do they play in September?
It's like those guys from San Jose. They haven't made that cross-country trip yet and had to play after a 6-hour flight. We'll see how they do, but Sheps thinks they're going to do fine. Why? Playoffs for the Earthquakes. The SuperLiga Final took place on Tuesday night this week. It was a rematch of the rematch. Houston and New England squaring off once again with a trophy on the line, and I was up there at Gillette Stadium for the game. Here at Gillette Stadium, the Revolution have just taken the field for their pregame warm-ups. Obviously, in the back of their head are those two losses in the MLS Cup Final. They do think, though, that this is going to be the one. The mood around here in Gillette Stadium is that this is the final, that the Revolution are finally going to beat the Houston Dynamo. The Houston Dynamo, of course, think that's crazy talk. They've never beaten the Revolution in the regular season, but they have those 2 cup wins to their name, you got to think in another final, they're going to be pretty confident that they're going to come out with another victory.
If he misses or has it saved, the Revs are SuperLiga champions. This is sudden death.
Oriash taking his time with the ball. It's one of those things I don't like. It means he's overthinking it.
It will be left-footed, and it'll be off the bar! The New England Revolution wins SuperLiga and bury the ghost!
And there it is, the New England Revolution with their second major trophy in their history, winning SuperLiga 2008 in penalties. It's Matt Reese coming up with some big saves, Oriash missing his PK, Shalrie Joseph with a late goal in overtime to tie it up 2-2, and deserved winners, you have to say, over the 120 minutes. Shalrie Joseph, in my mind, man of the tournament, SuperLiga champions, second major trophy in the last 12 months, and for me, you're the man of the tournament. I don't even know if they give that award out, but you've got to be the man of the tournament. What was going so right for you guys early on, then you gave up the goal, and then you came back?
We home, man. When we home, we a different team. We've been getting wins on the road, but when you're home and you're playing in front of a crowd like that who's supporting you and encouraging you, when we went 1 down and then 2-1, they just keep pushing us and willing us to get another one. And tonight it feels great. We came from behind and we put our work in all season and all preseason to get here, and it finally feels good to win one at home.
They're really the Revolution, though. Champions, well deserved.
Yeah, Greg Lalas!
Well, we've had a mailbox that's overflowing the last couple of weeks, so we thought we should dip in. Larry from Tallahassee asks, after 18 teams, which Don Garber says he wants by 2011, what will MLS do? Will they start a second division? Will promotion or relegation come to the United States?
Great question. The answer? No.
Yeah, no.
Never going to come
No
here.
way.
I'll tell you why. I think if you have 18 teams in the top league, you have to have 18 in the ostensible second division with the same financial capabilities if they get promoted to spend that money on players.
But the other thing, of course, is that the owners in MLS and all the other leagues in the U.S., they don't want to see relegation promotion because they don't want to maybe have to take the New York Red Bulls to play in Toledo. No offense to Toledo, a very nice town, but they don't want to see that.
Well, I agree with you, Greg, but there's another factor. I haven't told Don Garber yet, but I could see the league actually with so many well-qualified owners applying. Yeah. I could see it going from 18 to 24 teams.
Well, another question. Michael from Hilton, New York asks, with New England playing so well without Taylor Twellman, is it possible that we could see him go abroad?
Well, Mike, I'm sure Taylor Twellman wants the answer to that question as well. Got close to a transfer to Preston North End. It didn't happen. He's going to be healthy, and we'll see what New England does.
Well, but they're certainly going to need him. I mean, do you think New England is going to get rid of him?
Oh, I think they can ill afford to lose Taylor Twellman. At some point, at a big moment in a playoff game, they need Taylor Twellman.
Yeah, 90th minute, you need a goal. Who else do you want but TT? Bo in Eureka, Montana asks, with all of the extra games that teams in MLS are playing now, SuperLiga, Champions League, Open Cup, etc., when will the rosters be expanded? Well, Bo, the collective bargaining agreement ends in 2009. They're going to have to renegotiate everything. And every indication says that larger rosters and a bigger salary cap are a huge part of those negotiations.
Yeah, and Bo, I think that's right. And I think the league front office knows it. The players know it. The coaches know it. They have to be very prudent how they go about it. But with so many games that you talked about, they have to expand the roster.
And the most important question that we have, how do I get one of those sweet ET t-shirts? That comes from Mike in Glen Ellen, Illinois. And Mike, you get it because your question was just used on the air. That's how you get a sweet ET t-shirt. If we use your question, you get a shirt. So keep those emails coming to extratime@mlsnet.com. And don't forget to include your address and your shirt size. The Olympics kick off this week. The U.S. plays Japan on Thursday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Also in their group, Nigeria and Holland. 10 MLS players on the U.S. team. Where are their strengths and where are their weaknesses, do you think?
Yeah, Greg, let's break down the team. I think their strength potentially is up front. They have Brian McBride, who's the perfect target player, can get the ball in the air, can play with his back to the goal. He's going to have Josie Altidore, he's going to have Freddie Adu, ghosting behind him. So that can be a real strength if they develop a chemistry.
And what about weaknesses? Anything in there that you think?
Well, I'm a little worried about the defense. For them to do well, Brad Guzan, who really is not tested. I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's a rush to judgment, and he will be a great goalkeeper. But at the international level, very little experience. So he's got to be lights out.
And same with center back Michael Parker. Is not very tested in the international game either. So they're going to need to get something out of him on this one as well.
Yeah, I think the difficulty, Greg, is also the group. This is a tournament where if, and it sounds ridiculous, if they could get a goal, the first goal against Japan, if they beat Japan and can get out of the group, they've got Nigeria. I think Nigeria is a favorite.
Yeah.
Then they could do well.
But see, I think they can beat Holland. I think they've got the ability. I'm not that impressed with the Holland roster as it is. Do you think they're going to get out of the group?
I'm a U.S. guy. Cautiously, yes.
Yes, we both think that they're going to get out of the group. The U.S. plays Japan Thursday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you check that out. Time now for the Volkswagen Wow Moment of the Week. A little love for the left foot.
Greg, it's Houston at home against Columbus. Brian Mullen works hard, wins the ball on the right side of the field, looks up, top of the box, Brad Davis. Wow.
What a beautiful shot.
You got to be kidding me. I don't know whether the first touch, Greg, was lucky or brilliant, but wonderful goal.
I think we're going to go with the brilliant for Brad Davis on that one, and that is the VW Wow Moment of the Week. Well, that's all we have for you on this edition of Extra Time, but join us next week. Shep will be here, I'll be here, and we'll kick it around.